Riveting new video into Outfront from the front lines in Ukraine, where there is a fierce fight underway near Bakhmut. The gunfire just unrelenting as the Ukrainian forces try to push through the multi-layered Russian defenses, making their way across ground littered with landmines. Despite this, Ukraine says it is making real progress now in the area. That intense fighting coming as Russia continues to launch missiles deep into the city of Dnipro. You can see the smoke billowing from a residential high-rise, keep in mind, and a building that houses Ukraine's security services as well, in flames. As the fighting intensifies, Vladimir Putin is trying to shore up alliances wherever he can, cozying up now with the North Koreans as well as African leaders. Nick Robertson is out front.
Vladimir Putin is looking for friends. Fewer than he hoped showed up for his grandiose St. Petersburg Africa conference, simultaneously sending Sergei Shoigu, his defense minister, thousands of miles to North Korea, cozying up to nuclear-armed Kim Jong-un. Pictures of Putin plastered on the walls. Quite the reception for the Russians. And this, Kim showing off his latest intercontinental ballistic missile, the Hwasong-18. Putin telling Kim in a letter North Korea's firm support against Ukraine and its solidarity with Russia highlights our common interests to counter the policy of the West. So much Putin propaganda in Pyongyang shows Kim desperate for foreign friends too. Their common ground, anger at America. In St. Petersburg, where only 17 heads of state showed up, less than half of those who came for the 2019 pre-Ukraine invasion Africa conference. Putin's pitch, the US and Europe are bad. Russia's your friend.
As South Africa, and indeed as Africa, we are greatly encouraged by the Russian Federation's commitment to deepening collaboration with the nations of Africa.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa, whose ailing political party denies indirect Kremlin cash support, vocal for Putin. And as all this happens, a military coup in Niger. Russia apparently ready to move in and replace the West's counter-terrorism forces. Wagner mercenary boss Prigozhin, Putin's one-time Africa enforcer, telling Nigerians, throw the West out. In Africa, in North Korea, Putin trying to carve out a new axis, a world order aligned behind him against the West. The cold reality there, Jim, for Putin is that his roadmap only prospers when he makes the West look bad. But the trouble for the West is fighting Putin's false accounting of everything from the war in Ukraine to the cost of food and fuel in African countries is nearly a full-time prospect that's made so much harder because Putin actually has leverage over some of those countries. Jim?
Out front now, Mikhail Zygar. He is a Russian journalist who knows the Kremlin and Putin's inner circle really better than most. Thanks so much. He's also the author of War and Punishment, a new book about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. I wonder, Mikhail, we do know there's been some reporting in the past about Russia buying weapons and ammunition from North Korea for its war in Ukraine. What does it say about Russia's current position in the world, that it's reaching out to really the world's biggest pariah state, one might say?
You know, that has been Putin's strategy for several years. He's trying to become the leader of the global anti-Americanism. So yes, he understands that he has no way to find his own popularity in the global South, in Africa. So he's trying to play that card as the leader of anti-American world. And sometimes it seems that he's rather successful in that. So at least all the speeches that could be heard during the Africa-Russia summit in St. Petersburg, they were mostly against America or against the Western values, and Putin was trying to prove that he is the real fighter against the West and the United States.
Notably, of course, North Korea very close to China as well. Yevgeny Prigozhin, leader, of course, of the Wagner Group, resurfaced in, of all places, St. Petersburg, same city, same event as Vladimir Putin, just a month after he attempted a coup against Putin. Tell us what you've learned about where Prigozhin has been and what he's been up to, what his position is in Russia today.
Yeah, according to my sources, he has been noticed several times in St. Petersburg. That happens to be his hometown. So probably he didn't spend all of that month in Belarus. He spent most of time in St. Petersburg. He was trying to be visible, and he even met Vladimir Putin about a month ago in Kremlin. So obviously, according to my sources, Putin does not consider himself as a traitor, because Prigozhin was not trying to topple Vladimir Putin. He was trying to become number two. He was trying to organize an uprising against Minister of Defense Sergei Shoigu, but he did not betray Putin personally, and that's why he lost most of his influence. But he's still not eliminated, and even Putin let him to remain in his own city.
Well, remarkable, because Putin did use that word traitor in the midst of the coup. Mikhail Zygar, thanks so much for joining us tonight.